Welcome to the Connectable podcast.
The Connectable podcast starts in 3, 2, 1. My eye has been twitching on and off all day.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
I just had Deja Vu too. That was really weird.
That's a good place to start. What was the deja vu?
That everything. We're recording. I said my eye is twitching, and you said that's weird. Like literally all of that. I just had deja vu. I have deja vu all the time.
All right.
Well, let me take that back. It hasn't happened in a month. Maybe in a month it hasn't happened.
It is always weird when it sneaks up on you. That being said, I feel like those types of conversations, like, is it really deja vu or is it every Tuesday night when we record?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Do I say my eye twitches every Tuesday night?
I don't know. You may have. I don't know.
Oh.
We've been doing this thing for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's just repeated, actual conversations. Who knows? But I feel like I get it all the time. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah.
Do you get deja vu?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. Do you ever, when you get the deja vu feeling, do you ever like really, because I'll sit there and think, how did this go down last time? Because I don't want to make the same mistake. Because usually it's a situation where I'm like, I feel like I made a mistake. I don't want to do it again. And so I really think about, like, instead of going right, I'm like, yeah, I think I went right last time. Definitely going left. You ever get that? Or you just like kind of go for it?
No, because I don't even have time to think about that. Because the whole time that it's happening in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, this has happened before. Oh my God. That's it. That's all I have time to think about and do. I don't even have time to react. But it's usually lasts for about 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds at like the longest.
10 seconds is scary.
It's happened.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's happened to me before too. But 10, you know what I'm saying? Like a few 3 to 5 seconds, like, oh, that's weird. 10 seconds, like,
If I ever get a glazed over look on my face, which, I mean, let's be honest, that's a lot. But usually if I do, it's deja vu sometimes, because I just, like, my friends caught me. They're like, are you okay? And I'm just staring. And I'm like, oh my God, this has happened before. And I'm just kind of watching and I'm not responding to what they're asking me.
It's amazing that you have so many friends that have stuck around. I'm just going to say that right now, because I feel like I feel like they've all expressed concern for you in different ways. And the fact that I know that, like, I don't even know your friends, but like through social media, through like when certain friends of yours have been on the podcast, like they've all kind of expressed concern. And now I'm starting to wonder if I just haven't been paying attention enough to their little signals. These are like SOS signals. You know what I mean? They're like, she needs help. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll see you next week. We'll record again and it'll be fun. You know what I mean? I'm just not picking up on it.
Maybe that's why they're my friends still. They're concerned. They need to make sure that I have friends. No, I entertain them. That's why I have friends.
Oh, there you go. You're the clown that they bring on the trips.
Exactly.
Yeah. Entertain us, clown.
They want to know all my stories. They want to know. They just kind of just watch me sometimes. and then the train wreck happens.
That's interesting. I do something similar with my daughters. You just watch and see what they do. Because something funny, something funny is going to happen. So perfect. Well, you have a bunch of moms, it sounds like.
Yeah, I do. A lot of my friends are moms. It's funny because I have a solid group of friends who are single with no kids, like myself. And then I have on the other side, I feel like I have 50-50, the same amount of friends who are moms with kids. And we get together on soccer nights and that stuff. So I get to kind of experience both worlds. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, I was thinking more like they're all your mom, whether they're single or they have kids. It sounds like they're just all looking out for
basically,
you.
Yeah. The moms and non-moms. Yes.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we got to watch out for Deb.
Exactly.
It's been a while, my friend. How's everything going?
I know. Good. It's just,
did you miss the podcast? Did you miss me?
I did. I feel like this. Yeah.
Hold on. I messed up there. I'm sorry. I asked 2 questions and I feel like you did a blanket statement. Did you miss the podcast?
I did.
Did you?
Because I jumped on. Tonight I'm like.
Did you guys all hear that? She ignored my second question.
What was your second? I forgot already. What was your second question?
Did you miss me?
Oh, did I miss you?
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's fine. No, you already answered the question twice by ignoring it twice. We didn't need a third. It already hurt my feelings enough.
I can only handle one question at a time these days. But yes,
this is like deja vu for me. It's like, that's weird. I feel like we've had the same interaction. 41 times, and then almost 160 times if you count the Combine podcast. We've had this conversation a lot.
What was you saying? Did you miss me?
I mean, just in general, the confusion.
I'm like my students. I can only handle one question at a time. One at a time. And then let me answer, and then you can ask me the next question.
All right. That happens a lot too. I interrupt my own question. There's a couple weeks ago, here I'm doing it again. There was a couple weeks ago, I asked you a question, and then I interrupted like 3 times before I actually let you answer the question.
And you lost me.
Yeah, there she goes.
And then I'm like, well, you got to repeat it. I feel like I haven't recorded in quite some time. Hasn't it? Hasn't it only been 2 weeks?
It has been 2 weeks, but that's a long time for us.
I feel like it's a long time.
Well, and I think one of the reasons it feels like a long time is because one of those weeks we didn't record, which has not happened.
That's why.
You know what I mean? Like, we've never done this before, and people probably hate doing this because I was posting multiple clips of episodes from the past every day. And they're like,
I loved it because it reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, that cover. Oh, that person was so cool. Oh, that was like every time I saw something, I got excited because I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I don't know if everybody else enjoyed it, but I thought it was fun. And obviously, you know, it's too hard to post that many clips because we started from the beginning and just started posting all of these, you know, a clip, you know, every day of the week, or multiple clips of each of our guests. I didn't make it all the way through because it's too many clips to go through. So if I did not get to your episode, I apologize. Don't worry. At some point, we'll probably do the same thing, and we'll just throw your guys' clips out there. Anyways, but but so we didn't record. And which is something like super rare for us. We've never done it. I'll say this. We've never done that before where we just don't record. We've always either banked a bunch of episodes and we released them on the weeks that we don't record, or, you know, you or I will record when the other person can't do it. So it was a very strange feeling, not doing that, but it was fun. It was fun looking back and reposting some of that stuff. And sometimes, I don't know how you are with podcasts, but sometimes if there's a podcast that I discover and say they're like 50 episodes in, it's got to be really, really good for me to go all the way back and catch up from the beginning. And I'm sure people do the same thing where they might say, hey, you know, I really enjoyed that episode you guys did with, you know, Brie Sanders, and then started from there and just kept moving on and didn't go back. So, you know, we thought it'd be a cool way for people to, you know, get a little taste of what we've been doing since the beginning. So
that's a good idea. I liked it.
Yeah, but anyways, I think that's why it was so long.
That's why it felt so long. I was trying to remember. I was like, it's only been 2 weeks, but I feel like it's been longer. So that's why, because we skipped 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you're a teacher, and you're what, second or third week into school with students?
Oh my God, this is like my 3rd or 4th week, I think.
I'm a little bit off. Okay, 3rd or 4th week.
Tell you, it's this is my 1, 2. This is my 3rd week technically, I guess.
So it's not like you're not busy.
3.5. Oh no, not at all. You know what's funny is that I so empathize with our kids, and you know, if anyone who's new listening, I teach high school PE, and oh my God, these kids are so tired, just like mentally and physically. Oh my God, I won't even get into the physical aspect. They basically haven't worked out at least in person in 1.5 years, maybe 2 years.
Sure.
My school, our program, we had them work out over Zoom, like cameras on, they're working out. I know a lot of schools, I'm sure, worked hard to do that, but I mean, you can't, and a lot, you know, kids aren't logging on, and then some schools maybe didn't. I don't know what other schools did, but so a lot of kids did not exercise for a couple of years. So the first week, I'm telling you, they were struggling, and we still have to wear masks inside. So then there's that. And I feel so bad because they're warming up with masks inside. They're super tired. They already are tired from having a full school day again. With my schedule, at least is 7:45 to, you know, a little after 3:00. They're used to like from 8 to 1. And to be honest, so was I. So me and my coworkers were all looking at each other, you know, at lunch or by the end of the day, and we're like, oh my God, I feel like I just ran a marathon.
Yeah.
And just so I empathize with them because it's exhausting for us too, but it's really good for them. It's funny. They remind me of little toddlers right now in terms of they go up, they're back and forth with their moods. Right. Like you can tell they're so excited to be there to socialize. And then 2 seconds later, they realize that it's been a long day and I'm tired and oh my God. And then they get cranky and then they realize that they have to do work. And then they realize their friends next to them and they get excited. It's like, it's
a roller coaster.
Oh, like times 10 from before,
sure.
Even from before the pandemic. But it's good for them. They need to be back. I firmly believe that. Of course, safely, of course, like there's still been not a ton, I don't even know the exact number, but there's still been like COVID cases with staff and students at my school and in my district, and I'm sure everywhere else. So the schools are battling that. That's the tough part right now, is trying to keep everyone safe. But it's been good. Exhausting, but good.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what that's like for all the teachers and students, because it is such a crazy thing. And I think it feels a little bit weird too, because it's not like everything opened up at the same time schools opened up. You know what I mean? Like things have been opened up for a little bit, right? Like whether it be restaurants, stores, some of these things have been more open prior to the schools being open. And so now it's like you kind of think, well, like, I guess going into it, it's kind of like, well, I guess things have been open and you just kind of almost take it for granted, because I'm sure people have done stuff over the summer. They went to restaurants, they went to, like I know some people went to Disneyland or different places, right? And it's like, okay, life is hopefully kind of going back to a more normal place. And then it's almost like it wouldn't hit me, I don't think, until I actually got on campus. It's like, oh yeah, this is like a completely different thing. This is not like going to a restaurant. This is like a completely different world that we haven't been at forever, really. And so, I think just like if I'm trying to put myself in everybody's shoes, I think that would probably hit me once I actually got on campus, and that once, whether I'm a student or a teacher, it probably would hit me in that moment. It's like, oh yeah, this is a very different thing. This is not like going to a restaurant that just opened up, right? It's different.
Yeah. Well, and just getting them to get off their phone or look away from their phone.
Sure.
It's like you got to pick your battles. For me, sure. I basically, years ago, it's like no phones. If I see your phone, I'm taking your phone.
Sure.
Now, after COVID, like, God, their phone, that's all they had. And then plus some of them logged on their phone on Zoom, and they're doing their homework on their phone, and they're just their attention span. And I get it. I have to, as a millennial, I too have to, like, every once in a while just look at my phone and just kind of scroll for a second, just to get my brain to like focus on something else for a second and then go back to the task. So anyway, my rule now is just like, hey, as long as if you hear me talking, like if I'm starting to instruct, you better look up from your phone or put your phone down or something like it. And they are like, they're respecting it for the most part. All I have to do is just say something to them and they look up and they're like, oh, sorry. It's like, they like snap out of it. They forget they're at school. Yeah. So, so there's that. And then, oh my God, their language. Oh my God. I genuinely think 99% of them are being sincere when they'll fly out, a cuss word just flies out of their mouth really loud.
Yeah.
Talking either to me or to someone else. And I look at them and I'm like, you're at school. And they go, what did I say? And they don't realize. And I'll repeat it to them without repeating, I'll tell them, this is what you said. And they're like, I said that. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, I'm sorry. Like their brains aren't back to the whole being at school. And this is how you behave. And this is what you're supposed to do. So it's been really interesting to watch it all. And again, battles. I mean, I try to pick them and I'm just, whatever. It's like, to me, I'm like, this is just a learning experience. Think before you speak, type thing as I drop my microphone right now. So anyway, I had to have a discussion today with the student.
Shout out to you, Nicole. That one was for you.
Oh, my microphone totally dropped because my hands are flying in the air. I have a nice little makeshift Twilight book stand and I totally ruined it, but here we go.
From your friend Christine, right?
Yeah, from Christine. Thanks, Christine. I'm still using that.
Yes, thank you, Christine. Thank you for leaving us a very nice review on Apple Podcasts, even though we have a thief on this show that directly affected your life. We do appreciate that. I like to think that you did it for this half of the show, not the other side that's fumbling mics and stealing books. But regardless, 5-star review from Christine. Thank you.
You know what's funny? So when I did that post on my story a while ago about the stand and about the books.
Sure.
And I didn't think to tag her. I just didn't even think about it. I was like, oh yeah, Twilight books for the win. And I actually went to go visit her like a few weeks later because we try to, she lives closer to my hometown, like an hour away. So anyway, I went to go see her and we were talking and she's like, yeah, and we were laughing about the Twilight book. She's like, yeah, I saw your post and I saw it said Twilight books. And I was like, that's where my Twilight books went. Those are mine. And then because I think I don't know if I texted her later and said, oh yeah, here are your books. I'm using them for my stand. So anyway, I made sure to tag her the next time I posted about the Twilight books.
Very, very thoughtful of you. Yeah, now she knows it's out in the open.
She doesn't. It's okay. She doesn't seem to mind. If she wants them back, I'll totally give them back to her. Christine, if you want them back, I will send them back and I'll use a different set of books that I stole from someone else.
And Christine, now I'm going to talk to you. I am not confident that she's going to find another set of books to make the stand. So she says she will. I'm not convinced she'll actually do it. So if you'd be so kind to let her keep these books, we have a good thing going right now. So,
I mean, you're going to roll your eyes, but like I literally have a set of books that I'm looking at right now on my bookshelf that are not mine, that I think that are someone else's. So I have enough. Not only am I a food thief from that one episode, but I'm a book thief too. So I have some more books that aren't mine that I can use.
Let me ask
you. But I like these. The Twilight books are perfect. It's the perfect height. So I want to keep them. So Christine, unless you want them back, I'm just going to keep them.
There we go. Let me ask everybody that's listening. Is anybody surprised that she has more stolen stuff in her apartment?
I mean, it's not really stolen.
No one's raising their hand. Oh, okay. Borrowed. This
borrowed and I didn't give it back.
This is what people like Deb do. It's like I was just borrowing a bite of your sandwich. I was going to give it back. I was just borrowing the books. This is what she does. The word borrow covers a lot of things. So I forgot what a thief you were. It's only been 2 weeks and I forgot.
This is why my friends don't give me anything, like how I borrow Tupperware and now I have all their Tupperware.
See, that's what I'm saying. Have you ever wondered, like, I'm just going to say it now. You haven't been over to our house for a long time. It's not because of the pandemic. Let's be honest. It's because we don't trust you. We don't trust you.
I don't know. I haven't borrowed anything from you.
No, I know better. I've had the ability and the opportunity to learn from all of your friends that have shared these stories about, like, she stole my book, she stole my sandwich, all these different things. So I've had the chance to learn from all these people. It's like, nope. We just, basically, here's the thing, like you go to like certain places like a bank or a post office, and on the cashier side of the wall right by the window, if you go back there, usually there's like a list of like people. They say, if you see this person, call the cops. We basically have that in our house. It's like, if you see this, if Deb comes to the door, don't open it and check her pockets before she leaves, because there's a good chance she borrowed something from us.
Borrowed.
Just so
I mean, at this point, it would just be a snack or like food or something. And do you really want it back at that point? No.
No, but I also don't want to give it to you in the first place. So there's the dilemma. You can't come in our house. I'm sorry.
That's why your wife invites me over and not you.
She's wanted to invite you over multiple times, and I'm like,
oh, the truth comes out.
I'm telling you right now. Now she knows. She's like, did Deb steal anything this week? I don't know. Talk to her friends.
Oh, we should name this Deb the Thief episode.
There's a lot, like we talked about before, there's a lot of stuff you could do with your name and your initials.
I know.
We could, you could do your own podcast if you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I could.
You could. I don't think you would, though. I don't think you would.
I would. If I did, I would definitely have to hire you to put it together and do all the other things from me.
So like what I do now?
Exactly. I'd be like, Josh, how do you do the thing? How do I upload, Josh? How do I?
That's how it would go. And you ask me all these questions. I'd be like, you know what? Let me just do it for you and I'll send it back.
I would not know how. No clue. None.
You could figure it out. I figured it out. You could definitely figure it out.
I mean, it's questionable. I probably could, but it might take some time. By the time I realize that it's taking too long, then I would just kind of give up on it probably.
And then podcasts aren't a thing anymore. And
yeah. Exactly.
So, oh my God. All right, well, how much time have we wasted?
I mean, I don't know. We just talk about this. This is like another random topic one, but we did want to talk about something today. Yeah. We did.
Yeah. So, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. I can't remember. I shared something on our Instagram page, and I think I shared it on my own personal page. It's from a company called Complete Human. We follow them on Instagram, and they do a bunch of different stuff. It's like human optimization, health. That's like a dumb way of describing what they do. If you guys are interested, go check it out. But they have like supplements and different things that they sell, and I think they have a podcast as well. I'm going to be reaching out to them to see if they'd be interested to be on this podcast. After hearing this, like first 20 minutes, they're like, nah, not smart enough for us, but maybe. You never know. And so, anyways, they posted this picture, which I thought was really cool, and it's basically titled "How to Become Mentally Strong." And maybe I'll post a little picture of it on this. No, I'm not going to. That's a nice idea. I'm not going to do it. I was going to say maybe I could post a picture of this on the video, but
I see.
I probably won't. So anyways, go check out the Complete Human page, and you can see this image of a brain. And then from the brain, there's these little lines, and they go out to different words. And it's basically just little ideas, I guess you would say, or concepts of how you can be mentally strong. And so as I was reading through them, I thought it was really cool because they're really simple. And it's things that make a lot of sense, but I don't know if we always take the time to think about it. I think you and I both coming from the athletic world, you playing longer than I did because you were better at your sport than I was. But you know what I mean? Like we both had we had the Combine podcast for 125 episodes. And so we love that athletic world. And we always, how many of the guests did we talk to on Combine about mental toughness, mental strength, being mentally strong?
A lot.
All the time. And so, I think a lot of times when we hear that word mental toughness, I think of a guy like David Goggins, right? Who is just a monster, is a beast, and just is able to push through the pain, regardless of what's going on or how much pain he's in. He can just keep pushing forward. And so I think sometimes for me, at least, when I think of mental toughness or mental strength, I'm just thinking you just have to keep pushing forward. Mm-hmm. No matter what it takes, just keep pushing forward until you get to where you're trying to go. And I think that's a really, based on this image that I shared, I think it's a really simple way of looking at mental toughness. I think there's a lot more to it, and it's maybe not as, as blunt as just, you got to keep pressing forward. So,
well, and further, how do you do that? Like you just said, like you were just describing, just push forward, just mentally, you can't just really tell someone a lot of the times, just be mentally tougher, just push through it. And a lot of people, that's natural for them and that's just what they do. But a lot of people are like, how do I do that? Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, how am I supposed to do that? So that picture you sent me of how to become mentally strong and all the words around it, which we could talk about, was really interesting.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing to keep in mind too, just for anything. Cause how many times, like, I don't know if you follow any like entrepreneurs and people that are, do creative stuff like that, but it is funny because you have a lot of these people that will say, how did you become successful in your business? It's like, you just got to go out and do it. It's like, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you're successful. Great. But like, what does that mean? Like, sure. Yeah. Deb, I want to play for the San Francisco Giants. I'm just going to go do it. It doesn't work that way, does it? I wish it did. It doesn't. And so, that's always been a weird thing to me. And people just love it. They're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Does it? Yeah, sure. Yeah, go do it. I think there's elements of that are important. Like if you want to go do something, the first step is actually going after it, like moving towards that thing. But there's probably a lot of other things that you can learn from that person that's just telling you to just do it. It's a bizarre thing. So that mental toughness, I think, falls in the same category, where sometimes people are like, you just got to keep pushing forward, like I said. And like you said, how do you do that? So what are some of the practical steps? So we thought it'd be fun just to kind of go through this picture and just talk a little bit about each one of the ideas or concepts that they're suggesting plays a role in becoming mentally strong. Mm-hmm. So you want to read the first one?
Yeah. We're starting from the left.
Yeah. You want to go left and then go maybe counterclockwise?
Yes.
how did you, that's interesting. How did you imagine going around this thing?
Counterclockwise
okay. I was just curious. I don't know why.
From take a break, counterclockwise. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just like the way I see it. That's how I thought. It's weird. All right. High five.
From left to right. That's how I thought of it.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're on the same page with that one. Finally.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey.
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 The first one is take a break.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because sometimes I even think of when I think of mentally strong people, I think that they're just go, 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 and they just push through and get through it.
Right.
And uh, some of my friends have described me as being that way as well. Like I just go, 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 just get through it. You just got to do, all these things. And but taking a break is super important because how else are you supposed to recharge? And I'm not just talking about sleeping at night. That's a whole nother thing too, of getting enough sleep, but really mentally like shutting your brain off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some ways that I do that. Um, I think for me, I've learned to say no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Over the years, and you test your limits and you learn over the years, and not just stuff with work, but just anything in general that can like take up your time. Like if you have a lot going on, like you do need to take a break and allow yourself to just kind of sit. For me, I have to like shut my brain off. I think I think that's part of why I love living alone. I just am completely like, I literally it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing to come home and nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. I miss my dog so much. Like that was part of it. It was taking a break with her, but so I don't mean like alone, but just, just not having to think or talk and just literally sitting down on my hammock on my balcony and just staring out into space or whatever. And sometimes I'll feel guilty and be like, oh my God, I could be doing something. Like, why am I just sitting here? And then I have to force myself to stay there and be like, nope, you did all these things. You are going to be so cranky. You're going to get burnt out. So I have to like remind myself. So I think taking a break, that's a good one to start with, because a lot of people, we live in a hustle culture for sure. Like hustle, go, 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 no days off type thing.
Yeah.
You need to take days off. I think that's pardon my language, but I think that's bullshit. You need to take days off. You can't just go, go, go. You're not a robot.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think taking a break is good. And no, I think what you're saying is it's not a weird thing. Like you said, just staring off your balcony.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. I think more people need to do things like that. I think the idea of being quiet, taking some time to just sit there, think without any distractions, whether it's another person talking, whether it's your phone, TV. Because like I know some people, like their idea of quiet is still having the TV on in the background. Like to me, that doesn't count because you still have that noise in the background, whether you're listening to it or not. It's still there. I'm talking just complete silence, or maybe I would even say like if you listen to music, right, and you're just listening to music. I do that sometimes when I'm driving, right? Like when I drive, you're just listening to music or a podcast, and that feels like that taking a break for me. Even if it's only 20 minutes, it feels like a little bit of a break. But that being said, I think even if you have a chance to sit down and just be still and be quiet to just think and breathe, I think that's an important thing, even if it's only 5 minutes. I know our friend Kevin Bracey, and I wish I could remember the 5 things, but he's got these 5 points of 5 minutes each, and it's like take like a 5-minute walk, 5 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of listening. I forgot exactly what it is, but one of those things is like 5 minutes of just like resting. And I think that's a good thing for sure. Yeah. And I agree with you. I think with the hustle culture, I think this is the way I see it with that. I always think there's a balance to it. And I think I've seen it both ways. I think I've seen people that say you got to hustle, and there's no rest. Some people are just wired that way. I think it's still good for people to take a rest, but some people are like that. I think there's other people that maybe love the idea of taking a break a little too much. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, you got to take a break. Yeah, but how long's a break? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you've taken a long
4 weeks.
Yeah. It's like, cool. That's a vacation, not a break. That's a vacation, which is fine. It's just, let's not call it a break. And I think, you have people that are on both sides of this thing. And I think there's a balance. Like my thought has always been, and I probably lean a little bit more to the hustle side. And I have to be careful of that, because I've asked my wife, there's been plenty of times where she's like, hey, you going to bed soon? And it's like 11:30. I'm like, yeah, I'll be in soon. And I'm either working on this podcast, working on projects for, some different people. And then I look at the clock. It's like, oh, it's 2:00 in the morning and I have to go to work the next day. Like, why did that? You know what I mean? But like, there's a part of me that I just can't let it go. So I'm not gonna lie. I definitely lean more to that side. But I also don't have a problem taking a break either. Like, I think there's a balance to it.
Yeah.
That you have to find. And I think, I think that's the main thing. You find the balance, and then I think you'll be in a really good spot. Like, there's times where you have to hustle, right? Like, I'm sure at the beginning of the school year for you, you couldn't say, I had this huge summer, but you know what? I know this is gonna be a crazy year. I'm gonna take a quick break. It's like, you don't have time. Like, you have to get stuff done, and you have to hustle if you want to be the best teacher you can possibly be.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? There's times where it's like, okay, I know I would love to rest, but I have to hustle right now. There's other times where it's like, I know I have a ton of stuff to do, but it will get done.
Yeah.
Let me take this time to rest. Like, I think you have to have a healthy balance between the two things. But
yeah, it's a balance of I'm going to hustle, but I'm not going to kill myself.
Right.
Like, sure. Over it. Like, come on. It's so so really quick. My department and myself, a few of us, we we take our job so seriously in terms of like, we got to have the gym open at this time. We got to like, we're literally on a time schedule in school. Any teacher is, because of there's a bell schedule and stuff. And then, but with PE, there's a change bell schedule. There is, and now with COVID, we have different pods that have to go into change. It's a whole thing. We have literally a schedule just for our PE dress bells and this bell for this class. And it's crazy. So we are like, in the past, we would be literally sprinting and running to like, go open this door. We got to round the kids up and we got to put them, like, we are hurting them. HERDING. That's what I meant by hurting them. I had to clarify that. I just HERD, hurting them. And
we beat our kids every single day. They don't listen, we smack them in the face.
Exactly.
They don't listen again, we lock them in a locker. Oh my gosh.
You're just going to see my face on the news soon. That's all. It's all good.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? That would be, Hey, I'm going to tell you this right now. Just so we're completely clear on what would happen if that was you. I am 110% posting that on our Instagram page.
I just corrected?
If you beat your kids and then you run the news for beating your kids, like your students, I would, like, the news article, Sac B, Deb McCollum beats students, I would put that on our Instagram page.
Oh, great. Thanks.
It's content. We need downloads and views.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm using that. Right. I'm letting you know now. So it would never happen, everybody.
That's how we can get our listeners. Got it.
Yeah. Right. You won't reap any benefits of it. You'll be locked up. But that being said, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if that happens, I'm using it.
Well, okay.
That'll be your last contribution to the podcast. Would you consider podcasting from prison?
Yeah, just to be like, Josh, I'm in here because of you. So
no. Hold on. Yeah. I didn't tell you to beat your students. That was you. You confessed on my podcast.
I would podcast from prison.
How long are those phone calls? Do you know?
Do they let you podcast from prison?
Well, what I'm saying is, like, those, you get those calls, like, prisoners can call out.
Yeah.
How long is there a time limit on those?
I don't know.
There must be. I don't know. I'm not saying that you've done it before. I'm just saying.
That was hilarious. I don't know. That's a good question.
Sorry, everybody. I hit a nerve apparently.
I'm delirious.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, your last 5 boyfriends, they've all been prisoners, right? So
yes.
Was it suggesting anything?
You get about 1 minute and 15 seconds. I don't know.
I'm gonna look into it, but that would be our podcast. It's like, okay, we have a 2-minute podcast. Yeah, how's it on the inside?
Oh my God. Anyway, to the point. Here we go off on a rabbit hole. We HERDING, we are herding them like into the gym and we're running around. So we go this year, and because of all the craziness, we said, we are not running. We all looked at each other and we said, we are not running. Meaning, so for us, it was just a metaphor. Well, and we literally aren't going to run. We are trying to tell ourselves, hey, let's keep working hard, but we're not going to kill ourselves. Like this is no, we're not gonna, and that's not to say we are walking slowly and a bell ring. Oh, we're just gonna take our time. No, like we get our job done, but we're not going to. We said we're not running anymore. We're gonna be on time. We're gonna be timely. But like I literally had to catch myself. I started running so many times already, and I'd stop, be like, nope, don't run. Like, and I didn't even need to. So anyway, circling back around to the point, take a break, and finding balance is a good way to become mentally strong.
Yeah. I just want one thing just to add on to that before we move on. I think where it's the most difficult and maybe the most tricky for people to do that is when it's something they're passionate about. You know what I mean? There's certain things that we have to do that, like example, like paying bills, right? Some people like, I'm not in a huge rush to go do that because I'm not passionate about this, right? So that can wait. Things like that, right? There's things that you're not passionate about that is not going to be an urgent thing in your mind. I think when you're passionate about something, whether it be teaching, podcasting, whether it's the sport you play, whatever, you're a musician, I think that's when it becomes more challenging and maybe kind of sneaks in there, right? Where you can not let yourself take a break for a long time just because it's wrapped up in something that you love doing, right? Yeah. So it's harder for you to let go of that thing or take a break from that thing because you love doing it. So I think that's where, in my opinion, that's where taking a break is a little bit tricky and can kind of sometimes kind of sneak up on you. But anyways, we'll move on because that is a good one. I like that one. So the second one, you want to just go back and forth?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Doesn't really matter, but
yeah.
Okay, here we go.
You're next. Go ahead.
I just wanted to be part of it. I want to show everybody that I can read too. So
questionable. Okay, I'm just kidding.
I know. Well, thanks, Deb. See all these books behind me? They're just there for show.
That doesn't mean you read them.
I know. I like, oh, that's a cool cover. Can't read it, but I like the cover. All the pretty. If it doesn't have pictures, I can't do anything with it. So, okay. Anyways,
makes sense that you married a teacher. You need help.
Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I bring my brother up on this podcast all the time. He's a funny guy. He says funny things. Have you seen that movie School of Rock?
Yeah.
With Jack Black?
Mm-hmm.
There's that scene where he's in the cafeteria with other teachers. He's like, those who can't teach, or those who can't do, teach. And those who can't teach gym. He loves saying
I forgot about that part.
It's so funny.
Oh my God. I seriously love the PE teacher jokes because in my mind, I'm like, I dare you to come do my job. I dare you.
Oh, geez. All right.
Like, I dare you, Jordan.
No offense, Jordan. And Jordan knows this. No one would ever want him to be a teacher. It would just be.
That's true.
Would not be a good idea.
Teacher shortage.
The kids would love him. The parents would be like, "What'd you learn?" Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, the next one is appreciate yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting one. I think I think sometimes that can be difficult for some people because especially if some people they're usually people that are their own worst critics, right? And they're their harshest critics. And so sometimes I think it's tough to appreciate yourself and appreciate who you are, right? Like you've been on the self-love breakfast club quite a bit, and you've talked on past podcasts, you've talked about self-love, kind of goes into that, right? Like I think sometimes if you don't have a healthy view of yourself, I think it is difficult to appreciate yourself. I think it's difficult to really place the right amount of value and worth on who you are as a person. And like we've talked a lot over the years of podcasting, not associating that with what you do, but like actually, do you appreciate yourself? Do you believe that you have value as a human being, as a person? Do you believe that you have that you're worth great things? Do you believe you're capable of greatness? I think that's an important thing. So I don't have too much to say on that. I think it's just a good thing to remind yourself as you're being mentally strong. I think it's impossible, in my opinion, to be mentally strong if you don't have a healthy view of yourself. Yeah. Because why would you even consider or believe that you're capable of getting through this difficult time if you don't think that you have the ability, or if you don't think that you're worth it, or you have the strength to do it? You know what I'm saying? Those two things go against each other. So if you don't appreciate yourself, then you're definitely not going to be mentally strong.
Yeah. Well, and it's a very empowering thing to appreciate yourself and to have positive thoughts about yourself and to really value yourself. It's very empowering. And to me, it makes sense how that can make you mentally strong because you're your own advocate. You have to be. If you are, if you're stuck in a spinning cycle of I'm no good, what's wrong with me, da da da, or maybe even just passive thoughts about yourself, like, man, I'm okay. Like that can be mentally draining because then you're constantly, everybody wants to feel good about themselves. So if you're in that state, I can see how that can be mentally draining, and then you don't really have the capacity or room to be mentally available or strong for almost anything else. So
Right.
I think that's an important one, appreciating yourself and knowing who you are as a person and knowing your worth, and and lifting yourself up, Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's always easier to, at least for me, it's easier to appreciate other people. Like I try my best to show appreciation to the people around me because I think that's a really important thing. And I think even that, I think we don't, in my opinion, I think some people don't do that enough, right? I don't think they show enough appreciation to the people that are around them and are doing even the small things for them. But yeah, I think when it comes to, I think it's always more difficult when you have to look in the mirror and appreciate yourself. Even it goes both ways, right? Like whether it's appreciating yourself or sometimes for people, they do have a tough time hearing criticism about themselves too, right? Like there are two sides to it where some people get offended at even the slightest notion that they may have done something wrong.
Yeah.
That's, again, I think with all these things, like you go too far one way or the other, it's a problem. But
Yep.
yeah, I think it's a good thing. I don't have too much more to say about that. I think that's pretty much
that's
it.
a good one.
Cool.
Same. All right.
The next one.
The next one, this is an interesting one. The next one is be kind and fair, which it makes sense as I'm reading it, but I honestly wouldn't have thought that to be something of, a staple, a PowerPoint thing of how to become mentally strong. But
I agree.
I just thinking about it right now, it makes sense because when you are kind and fair, you are in that position of that sometimes that's a hard thing to do because sometimes you don't want to be kind and you don't think things are fair, and things aren't fair. Life is unfair.
Well, you're not to interrupt you, but you're a teacher.
Yeah.
You deal with this every day.
Every single day.
Yeah.
Every day I have to be kind and fair. Am I always? No, but I try to be.
Yeah.
But for sure. Because it's easier to, if you're angry at something, or if we're human, we're not robots, like we have emotions, and to act on a lot of negative emotions against someone else, that I think is like mirrored and can turn around on yourself. And then you start talking to yourself that way. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that. And at first, if someone, like if I were to tell someone like who is constantly down on themselves, and like, you just need to try to just, even if you're faking it for a little bit, be nice to others and just keep doing it. And it's like practice. And then pretty soon, I swear, it's like, then you become nice to yourself. Yeah. It's just what's what I'm looking for, like psychological conditioning on yourself, I guess.
Just well, I mean, how many times is it when someone's not nice or kind to someone else, typically that's because of something that they're dealing with internally, right?
Oh yeah. They're projecting for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense if you're able to be kind to other people, and, like you said, whether it's genuine or not, hopefully it's genuine, but if you're in a place of genuinely being kind to other people, I also believe that's a reflection of what's going on inside of you. You're probably at more peace. You're probably, happier with yourself, happier with your life. You know what I mean? So I think, those two things go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And just, I mean, I don't have much more to say about that, except for just, just practicing being nice to other people if that's not what you normally do, I guess. Like if you project a lot, just even, thinking, I literally told one of my kids this today, like I said earlier, think before you speak. I'm like, I was like, you have a brain. There's something called, you have a filter, like just think about it. And then should I say this out loud or not?
Right,
and the same thing with being kind. Like, and I tell my kids this too, if you don't have anything nice to say, at least I say in my class, you better not say anything at all. And so I just, and the being fair part, gosh, that one's hard. That one can be really hard in life, in general, like, but it's important to, and I have to do that with my classes. I have to hold everyone to like, I can't let these kids get away with that. And then the rest of the class over here not get away. It's just like, I mean, that's a whole different thing, but
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, I guess I don't have any other comment on the be fair part because that one's a tough one. It's just to me, it's the same thing as being kind, to be fair.
Yeah, I would say the only difference, and again, if we use you as the teacher as the example, it's being fair. Like, I guess there's a difference between what's actually fair and what's perceived as fair, because what you deem as being fair to your students in your class is probably not going to necessarily be seen as fair by all of your students. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the weird, unfortunate position that you're in as a teacher. That it's like their idea of fair may not be. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could do, okay, this is the most fair thing I think I can do for the entire class. There's a section of that class that's gonna be like, this is not fair at all. Like, why would Miss McCollum even think that was fair to everybody? You know what I'm saying? So it's almost a subjective thing. And I think that's why I can't speak for you, but like as you were talking, I think that's what makes being fair so difficult is, like I said, what you believe is fair versus what others are perceiving as fair could be different. And I think that's what makes that one so tricky. Because even you could do the thing that you think is the most fair for everybody and still be seen as a villain.
Right. Well, it's subjective, like you said. So
I'm completely with you. I think that's what makes that one. Being kind, you have to be a moron. Like, there's being kind and not being kind. If you don't get that, then you're too stupid to be listening to this podcast. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, it should be pretty simple. Being fair might be a little bit different.
That was not kind of you to say, Josh. So
I accept that. I'm okay with that.
That's fair.
I'm okay with that because I really don't believe that any of our listeners are like that. I believe we have a bunch of kind listeners. And if you're not, I take that back. The person who gave us the 1-star review, that was for you. Take that.
There goes Josh projecting away.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you, I'm not even projecting. I'm saying it. I don't appreciate the fact that you gave us 1 star without a review. You could have at least told us why we suck, but you didn't. So I have a problem with that. This is what Deb gets to hear after the podcast sometimes.
It's okay.
Me ranting about stuff. We won't go into that.
It's all right. Our listeners know by now that that 1-star review, man, that got you.
Well, like I said, it's no, I can't, because the person didn't say why they gave it. You know what I mean? It's like
they weren't that's not kind or fair of them either.
No, it's just, like I said, it was stupid. But no, if you go to Amazon, you go to like the reviews of a product, it's not helpful if you just have, hey, this person, like 20 people gave this product a 1-star review, but you have no idea why. It could be, it's like, oh, they didn't like the fact that this blanket that they bought was white. It's like, I was looking for a red blanket and I got a white blanket. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything. At least tell us. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So you're right. It does bother me.
We'll just chalk it up to it was one of my exes. You can blame it on me.
Yeah, you keep saying that. Now, if it's one of these exes that you're talking to from prison, then I'm going to probably be a little more careful about what I say. But
there you go.
Yeah.
That's exactly. It's an ex from prison.
I don't believe you, so I'm going to keep talking the trash. So, the next one is welcome challenges. So I thought that was a pretty interesting one.
Okay.
And
nice.
I think it's just always a good thing. I think if you're constantly, I've said this before to athletes that I've talked to and some of these team talks that I've had the opportunity to give over the years, the talk that I give the most, it kind of it's this idea of, are you able to keep going even when your dream or your goal seems to be like lost, right? Like if you lose sight or lose focus on what you were pursuing, like, do you have the fortitude and the character and the toughness to keep pushing forward? Or at this, like the first sign of trouble, are you just going to bounce and retreat the other way? And I think that's part of this. Like, I think sometimes we look at, and something I tell them, I think sometimes when a challenge or an obstacle is facing us, I think instead of looking at it as an opportunity, we almost treat it like landmines that you have to tiptoe around, and like don't avoid it at all costs, because this is going to be way more painful, way more challenging, way more difficult than I want it to be. I think if we changed our perspective and we looked at those things like stepping stones rather than landmines, I think we would realize that each one of those challenges that we conquer allows us to go up to another level, and then up to another level. And then each step you're taking, each challenge that you're conquering, or each obstacle that you're overcoming, is something that makes you realize, oh, I'm actually capable of more than I thought I was. And then the next one, oh, I'm actually capable of even more than that. And then you just continue to get this realization and this understanding of who you are and how much you're actually capable of. But if you don't have those challenges, and if you're not accepting the challenges when they're presented in front of you, then I think you're not fully grasping the opportunity that's in front of you. I think you're missing it, by just trying to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah. Well, and welcoming challenges and everything you just said, that takes you out of your comfort zone. And that's a huge thing. You can't, that's so hard to do. And again, I tell my kids this when they refuse to learn how to do a push-up the proper way. It takes you're not comfortable with it. It is not comfortable. You don't like it. You're sweaty and tired, and it's gross, and it just does not feel good. And I tell them, I said, but if you do 5 push-ups every day, you're eventually going to be able to do 6 push-ups, because you're going to get stronger, and then it's going to be easier. And then it's not going to be uncomfortable anymore until you decide, like you just said, until you decide to do a little more and a little more and a little more. And to welcome challenges and to step outside of your comfort zone, it really does. It makes sense. It really does make you mentally stronger in the long run, not right away, maybe, but like as you continue to do that, because you learn to handle these challenges, and you learn how to navigate them and work around them. It's almost like if someone accepts challenges time and time again, and over time, and here's a new challenge, and they're like, oh, I can do that because look what I did way back here. Like way all these years ago, I handled that. I can handle this, no problem. Yeah. But when you don't step out of your comfort zone and you don't accept challenges, and then all of a sudden something does come along, it's like, it's hard. It's like, oh my God, like I haven't dealt with this before. I haven't, and right. So stepping out of your comfort zone is not our natural instinct. We want to stay comfortable. We want to stay in whatever bubble it is we've created for ourselves, because it feels good. But definitely it's stepping outside of your comfort zone is a for sure way to make you mentally stronger. For sure.
Absolutely. I think, you're not going to be able to, get that feeling of overcoming or success if you don't accept a new challenge. So, and not just accept it, like you said, or like the picture says, welcome it. Like you're not just, what I'm saying? I think it's an intentional.
Yeah, you just say, bring it.
Bring it, pretty much. Yeah. It's not like, well, if a challenge comes, I guess I'll deal with it. No, it's like you're welcoming it in. You want the challenge, so it's a good thing. Yep. What's the next one?
The next one, this is a good one. Learn to move on.
That's okay. We just talked about this. I didn't look ahead. I should have looked ahead.
But I just really quickly, I'll just say one thing about it. Like I'm a firm believer on, if you hold on to every single thing or most things that have just bothered you. Yeah. This is for you, Josh, with the 1-star review.
That's what I'm saying.
but like really on a deeper level, over time, there are some things that some people just can't let go that will, and then it starts to affect your daily life. And then you start to think about it and resent on it. It is hard to move on from things. And it's, some people are like, nope, I refuse to, I'm not going to forget about that. it's like cool. Like you can't just snap your fingers and literally forget about it. That's not how that works. But if you don't move on from it, you're going to totally be stuck back there until you do. Right. And it kind of goes parallel to the welcoming challenges thing. Then you're going to have a tough time welcoming challenges if you are not learning how to move on from the other thing that, I don't know, made you upset or whatever. We could go off on different tangents on that point, but learning to move on is a good one. I agree with that. How to become mentally stronger.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think looking at it from the sports perspective that you always hear, you have to have a short memory, right? You can't keep thinking about the error that you made, the last at bat that ended up in a strikeout. You can't, the last, how you're 0 for 3, 0 for 4 at the free throw line, whatever sport you play, you can't just keep looking back at those things. You have to have a short memory and move on to the next one, because the more I've said it so many times over the years of podcasting, but the more you're able to be in the moment, and you're like just free in the moment as you're competing, you're going to have more success, because it's too hard. You can't look too far. You can't look behind you at what happened in the past. And you also can't look too far ahead, because you get ahead of yourself and you're missing out. You really do have to like play in the moment, right? If we're using the sports thing. Yeah. But I think it is super important to learn to move on from those things that, maybe hurt you, maybe bothered you, maybe, cause some issues for you. Obviously, as much as I love joking about the 1-star review, I don't lose any sleep over it. I sleep just fine. It's fun. it's fun to joke about. But that being said, I know people where that type of thing would drive them crazy. Like, here's the thing. Everything that I joke about would be serious for them. Like, they wouldn't be able to let it go. Yeah. And it's like, you have to. It's one person. It's one person's opinion. This whole thing is subjective. Like, if you and I, based everything that we did on this podcast off of what people thought of this podcast, we wouldn't be podcasting, because it would just get to us too quickly. We don't have that many followers. So, it would break us, but we enjoy talking too much. So here we are. We've learned to move on from the low numbers. Exactly. But I do think it's, and I always talk about how, you and I both run, and can you imagine trying to, like, if you're trying to improve your mile time, if you're trying to, if you're doing 100 yard like sprints, and you're trying to, improve your times or get faster or stronger, whatever it may be, and the whole time you're looking backwards. It's like, I'm gonna run 100 yards, but I'm gonna keep looking backwards while I do it. You'll never reach your full potential. You'll never reach your best time, because it's impossible to do it. Yeah, to do it that way.
It interjects with the moment.
Right.
If you are continuously looking back, talking about it, thinking about it, whatever, over and over and over again, and you haven't dealt with it or whatever, you're just kind of holding on to it. It totally interjects with what you are doing right now.
Right.
Completely. You just gave all that power, and then you can't even live your life right now.
Right. And I think when you look at the past, present, and future, I've always felt like you break it down. Like, those things are all useful and beneficial for you, but it's like you learn from the past, you live in the moment, and then I guess you would dream about the future, right? Yeah. Like, I think that's kind of the way, if you keep those three things in their separate compartments, I think those things are all beneficial. But if you live in the past, it's a problem, and if you're not present in the moment, then it's a problem. And if you're like looking so far in the future where you can't focus on anything else, then it's like, or, if you don't learn from the past, then you're taking those mistakes into the present and the future. So, it's one of those things where you just kind of put those three things in separate categories, and they're all useful for your life. But if they start bleeding over into the other sections, then I think it's problematic.
Yeah, exactly.
So
good one.
The next one, we'll try to wrap this thing up quickly, because I think we're already at an hour. This is what happens. This is what happens when it's been a while and we haven't recorded.
I know, right? We have so much to talk about.
Because we don't even really communicate that much on these long breaks either.
No, yeah.
I was I'm like, I'm not even gonna text Deb about podcast stuff. I'm gonna let you take a break.
I could take a break. Thank you.
Yeah. Even though on my side I was not taking a break. It's like, go. Not a big deal.
He knew what I needed, everybody.
Yeah. I don't want. Here's the thing. I don't want to see Josh's name pop up on my phone. Like, I don't want to see the little blue bubble. Like, oh, Josh Takimoto. Oh no. It's because it's never like, hey, how's it going? Everything good? It's always, so I have an idea for the podcast. What do you think?
And I say, great, love it.
That's pretty much how the conversation goes. It's like, see you Tuesday.
All right.
You haven't done the double guns for a bit. I missed that. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything now because I had to
Well,
prompt it. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's at the
I had
beginning
to
of the episode.
practice it. It's been a while. I just practiced.
There you go. That's at the beginning of the episode. She's like, all right, let's record. I'm like, all right.
I haven't done that in a while.
It has been a while. So, anyways, but that would be you staying authentic. Boom. Segue into this next point. Stay authentic.
Yep.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about how that helps you stay mentally strong? That one I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that. Not that I disagree or anything.
Yeah, no.
Again, everyone, just disclaimer, everyone, if you already couldn't tell, we are not psychologists or professional mental health people in any capacity, way, shape, or form. These are just our own opinions. So
that might be the next podcast, not psychologist. That's our next podcast. We had people calling with their issues like, I think you do this. I don't know.
I think this is what you should do. I don't know.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Let us know.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
just let me throw that out there.
Yeah.
Staying authentic. I don't know. Just, I mean, to me, that means just be yourself. And I mean, the way I'm reading that is just be yourself and don't live your life to try to be somebody else. I'm sure that phrase for this topic of how to become mentally strong, staying authentic, that can mean something to everybody. But for me, I think what that is telling me to be is just, don't try to, copy someone and emulate them and don't look for yourself in other people. Like, you have things that you need to work on and don't get me wrong. I actually, my life, the way I am and the way I react to things, some of it is due to the close people I hang around with. Like I'll pick up on some of their stuff and their good habits rub off on me. And then that somehow becomes a part of me because I like who I am or I am becoming because of that. So I don't know, just stay authentic. To me, in the terms of, staying mentally strong is just don't forget who you are and who your beliefs are and who you truly want to be as a person, I guess. What does that mean?
No, that was actually really helpful for me because I think it gave me a thought about that. And I think it is, you hear all the time, whether it's in the business world, sports world, creative space, you do hear people say, and there's different ways of saying this or conveying this thought, but something to the effect of you can't compare your starting line with someone's finish line.
Yeah.
Right? So for example, if you as an author were comparing yourself to like your favorite author, mm-hmm. and you're for your first book, right? You're trying to write your first book and you're looking at whoever your favorite author is, and you're just like, dang, like I suck at writing. Like, look at this person. It was like, well, that person's doing it for however many years. They have, know, hundreds of books out there, and you're just starting your first book. Of course, it's going to look different. Of course, your first book's not going to be that great. You know what I mean? Like compared to their 100th book, of course not. So, and I think when it comes to mental strength, I think that would be, maybe that's what they're kind of getting at here with stay authentic. If you're, like you said, if you're constantly comparing yourself to others and you're measuring your success or your value or your worth or your ability against theirs all the time, I think that's draining. And I think it takes your eyes, instead of looking straight forward at your goal, I think you start veering off and looking in different directions. And I think I think it's just a distraction. And I think that's where maybe mentally it causes, some problems.
Yeah, that's a good way I like that. Just, don't compare. Just stop comparing yourself with other people, period.
You are who you are and
period.
Yeah, period.
Yeah,
period.
I like it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to say the next one?
Yes, please.
Okay. The next one is take risks. And I was trying to think about how that's different from welcoming challenges. But now that I'm looking at the word and just kind of visualizing it, when we were talking about welcoming challenges, to me, that meant like when something is thrown at you, you're like, all right, bring it, let's deal with it. But taking risks, I feel like that is a decision that is made. Okay, I'm going to do this. and I'm going to try this new thing. So it's another layer of coming out of your comfort zone, I think, of, a choice, maybe like that's a choice that you're making to try something new and to try to up your game, so to speak.
Right.
And not only welcoming a challenge, but you're volunteering yourself to go another step and take a risk on something. You never know until you know. There's my high school kids, they'll ask ridiculous questions and the answer is always no. Yeah. Like, hey, Miss McCollum, can I skateboard in the gym? No. Like and I look at them, I'm like, no. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, at least I asked. I had to shoot my shot. Like I had to ask. And so I had to try. So it's, but like, I've heard that several times from I don't know if it's a thing right now. I don't know if it's on TikTok. I don't know what, but a lot of kids are trying to push boundaries. They'll accept the no and they'll say, oh, I tried. I had to ask. Yeah. But it's funny because I'm taking it as hey, that's a good, at least you tried, at least go out there. You get a no, you get a reject, whatever. At least you can tell yourself, hey, I tried. I shot my shot.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've watched the Little League World Series, but they, typically when a kid comes up to bat, they'll have like their name, height, weight, all that stuff. And then it will say have like a silly question, right? Like, who's your favorite baseball player? Or who's your favorite athlete? What's your favorite food? Stuff like that. This one kid, I forgot who he played for, but the question was, who's your secret crush? And it said, my teacher, Miss Smith. And then in parentheses is like, sup, Miss Smith.
Oh my God.
Shot is shot. I would love to know what the teacher's reaction was to that. It'd be awesome. But I don't know. Anyways, that just reminded me of that.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's probably not as funny if you're a high school teacher.
No,
takes their shot. It's like, you know what I mean?
Shooting my shot. Well, your shot's never going to be made, kid. Is what it is. That's not really it. But at least tried.
It's probably cute if it's like an elementary school kid, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, look at the little fourth grader taking a shot. Right. High school, it's like, we're getting to like Lifetime movie territory. Not great.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I got in trouble last time we talked about this on the podcast. So
that was funny because I didn't know. Well, anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But
it's a whole other conversation. Let's move on.
Whole other thing. We got to stop right there.
We're in murky water.
But yeah, just take risks and just at least try. You never know. So I think it's a good way to challenge yourself. I think that's good.
I agree. I don't have anything else to say on that. I agree with everything that you just said.
Fabulous.
You're completely right.
I know.
Yeah. There we go. All right, we gotta wrap this thing up.
Last one.
This is where it's starting to, the wheels are falling off. So
the wheels are falling off. My wheels are always falling off.
Yeah.
Always.
This podcast is basically like a one-ish wheel operation. Like we're on a unicycle all the time.
That's good.
It's amazing that you think so. For some people.
Thanks.
For some people.
If anyone who's still listening, we're entertaining for sure.
We're entertaining ourselves. Yeah.
That's true.
I feel like it's one of those weird things when we have someone, either we reach out to someone about the podcast and we're getting ready to have them on and maybe they're not super familiar with the show. Like, so what's the show about? That's a good question. If you can figure that out, let us know because we'll put it in our bio. But I was like, we like to connect with people. Yeah. I get like people are always like, it's not the best way to do a podcast where you just have, free flow conversation. Here we are. We're still doing it 40 episodes later. Exactly. We have too much fun. So
exactly.
My phone locked up.
It's a good segue to the last one, actually.
How? Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
I had to think about that for a second. I don't get the segue.
Yeah.
It's like, good job, Deb. It makes no sense. I get it now. I was a little behind. So celebrate success.
Yes.
Celebrate success. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's something that we've done pretty well in the past. We bought cupcakes for when we hit our 100th episode for our Character Combine podcast.
We did.
We celebrated because I think here's the thing. I don't like it when people are like, whatever it may be, whatever their thing is, and they want to make like show their show. Like that's not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. No, like you got to, I think it's fun to celebrate the successes, especially
Yeah.
in today's world, right? Like there's so much negative. I
Yeah.
think you guys celebrate it. So yeah, when we hit 100 episodes, guess what? We're gonna get cupcakes again
Oh,
because it's
heck
fun,
yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
gonna look back at all the fun episodes that we did because it's fun to celebrate. And I think more people should do that. You know what I mean? And
I
it's
think
not like
that.
it's not in an arrogant way or anything like that. Like it's saying like, hey, I accomplished something
Yeah.
that I feel it was really important to me. I'm gonna celebrate it. And I know some people are like, hey, I don't like to celebrate stuff like that. It's that's fine if you want to do it that way. But my thing is, hey, celebrate the successes because you don't know, when the next success is gonna come. So
YOLO.
YOLO. There
That's
we go.
just yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You said it well. And that's why I added YOLO, because guess what? You only live once. So celebrate your successes now.
I feel like
That's
you've
all I
said
got.
YOLO a couple times on this podcast. I don't know
I think I have.
how I feel about that. 'Cause
And
I feel like you say it with so much pride, like YOLO, and
yeah,
then I'm like,
bringing it back. I don't know. I don't know if my kids would know what that is if I said it in front of them. I'm going to try that tomorrow.
yeah, report back next week. Let us know how it goes.
And well,
And
I'll let you know. It'll be interesting to see that. It's really funny to try to say millennial terms in front of them and see if they know what they are. But I mean, some of them do, because a lot of their parents are my age, which
Sure.
is yeah, I can't even get into that part
That's
right now. But
that would be a fun conversation, though, wouldn't it? That is crazy.
So let's say YOLO tomorrow and see if they know what it means.
There you go. I'm sure you'll get some.
Yeah.
Some people will probably appreciate what you're saying. It's weird to me, not to go on this sidetracks. I know we're trying to wrap this up, but it is weird to me when someone refers to something like a TV show or a movie, or specifically a TV show, and someone will refer to the TV show, and it's one that like we grew up, watching. That was when we were young. And then you have someone that we know is at least 10 years younger than us. It's like, oh yeah, I used to love that show. It's like, when did you even watch that show?
Yeah.
Have you ever had that? Where it's like, then I'm like in my head trying to do the math. I'm like, would that have even been around?
Yeah.
On reruns when you were a kid? Like, when did you watch this?
I know. I mean, that's how good the show was. It must have been on reruns or Netflix or whatever, and they're watching it now and they think it's their show now. And it's like, oh no, boo, this is my show.
Yeah.
It was airing this was not airing when you were not watching this. You watched the reruns. It's not the same.
Yeah, dumb. Yeah. And by the way, be nice.
No, that wasn't very nice.
At the same time, don't ever talk about my TV show like that, idiot. So no, it always throws me, like I just feel like that never ends. I'll be 50 years old, and they're like, oh, I remember that. It's like, you're 10. How do you have any clue what I'm talking about? I just feel like that little gap just stays the same all the time. It's weird.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I think that was a good episode. The last one that you and I did together was just nonsense. And,
this at least had some sort
fun.
of direction.
It did have a direction. Yeah. We didn't just end up talking about, you moving 55 times in 2 years, and then
now everyone knows
so
our listeners, if they listen to every episode, I think they learn a little bit more about my personal life every time. So
yeah,
every time.
Yeah. So if there's any guy out there that plans on shooting their shot with Deb, if you haven't done your homework at this point, you are dumb. Like, she's giving you so much freaking information. If you don't know, like, you know what I mean? They should know. So, do your homework. We're giving you all the tools. Just do.
I'm like one digit shy away from giving my social security number. Like, it's
and your phone number, your location.
That's how much information I've given out.
Yeah.
It's like
piece it together. And then
it's not that hard.
You can win Deb's heart. So we're giving you all the keys. You just got to put the puzzle together.
Yikes.
I'm just joking. You should have seen Deb's look. You're not winning anything.
That's a challenge. It's a little bit of a stretch there.
Hey, if it gets us some downloads, I'll put it out there.
And on that note,
so we have our connection suggestions, which is either a brand, person, place, like a restaurant, organization, whatever it may be, that we feel like you guys should be aware of, and go follow on social media and stay in touch with what they're doing. So I have a few. Do you mind if I go real quick?
Yes, go.
My phone is going to die soon, so I get these out. Okay, so over this past weekend, I was working with my friend and mentor Kevin Bracey, And he's been on our podcast before. He's an incredible motivational speaker. In my opinion, he's the best. He's the best around. He's been doing it for so long, and he just keeps getting better and better every single year. Every single thing he does is it's incredible. He needs to get out to Sheldon High School one of these days. Again, he was there a while ago speaking to the basketball team, but he needs to get out there again. But you know, him and I were working on a project this past weekend that I can't say too much about, but if you follow him, you've seen some pieces of what we were doing. It's really dope. And you know, that being said, my suggestion is not even Kevin. As much as I love Kevin, we've shouted out Kevin before. My suggestion is some of the young speakers, the young up and coming speakers that were there as well. He had four young guys that are really talented, really amazing at what they do. And he was, Kevin was able to kind of give them a shot at this thing that we're working on together. And they were a part of it, and they killed it. They did an amazing job with this thing that we're doing. So like I said, keep an eye out. We'll make sure we post it once it's actually done. But I wanted to shout out those four guys. So Josiah Greer, Coley World, Armani Easley, and Justin Martinez. You guys were awesome. You guys killed it, and I have no doubt that you guys are just going to continue to kill it in the speaking world and the motivational world. So, you know, keep up the good work, and I can't wait for people to see what we're putting together. But yes, just a shout out to those four guys. They're awesome. Sweet.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a couple repeat connection suggestions if I could put those out there.
Does that mean that you weren't ready?
That totally means I wasn't ready, but
I appreciate your honesty.
No, but as soon as you said that, I'm telling you, like, as soon as you said connection, two things came to mind. They're not new, but if you're a new listener, then it's new to you. So whatever. So, and if you forgot, then it's still new to you.
There we go.
I still obsessed with crumble cookies. So everyone,
I had them.
Did you have them? Which one did you have?
Rachel and I had them. So we got four, and then we split. Okay. We split four together. We had the chocolate chip. I'm not gonna lie. Well, do I want to say this?
Chocolate chip is like available every week, though. I don't think I've ever gotten that one.
Yeah, Crumble's not gonna. I don't want to say this. Never mind. Chocolate chip was good.
That it translates to Josh was a little disappointed with chocolate chip. But what about the other ones? Because the other ones are the fun ones because they change them every week.
Chocolate chip was good. It was not my favorite. It came in fourth place. I'll say that.
Okay.
I'll explain why I'm hesitant after we're done recording. So, so chocolate chip would be number 4. Number 3 was probably the sugar cookie.
Oh yeah, that's available every week too. But I really love the sugar cookie. No, really it's good. Really good.
Really good. But I'll say this: it came in third for me, and then second would be I believe it was like a peanut butter brownie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like the brownie type cookie with the peanut butter frosting.
That's a weekly one. Yeah.
Well, we got all the weekly ones, I guess.
I know. Well, when did you go? Last week? This week?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. That one was delicious. And the number 1 for me was the birthday cake funfetti.
Oh my gosh. That's my absolute favorite.
And that's saying a lot for me because I'm sorry. I just took your connection suggestion. I'm just like, I had it like for a second.
I have another one. It's okay.
That was like deja vu for me. I'm like, did I say crumble? No, I didn't. The birthday cake confetti cookie, that one's amazing. And I love chocolate. So that's saying a lot for me to say that was my number 1 because I love chocolate so much. So that's how I would order them. But anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I love them just because they have different flavors every week. I seriously I go on their Instagram or their website and I literally look up to see what flavors they have. Like for the week, like on Sunday. I'm like, hey, what do they have this week? And I message it to Deb, the other Deb, and where we start to plan. She brought me cookies to work today because she's like, guess where I went? She's like, I was in Elk Grove. Guess where I went? I'm like, you went to Crumble. She's like, yeah, I'll bring you some tomorrow. And I'm like, oh yes, it saved me. It seriously was the perfect pick me up, and it's just really good. So, but a lot of people out there aren't into sweets. So I mean, if you are, you have to check out Crumble.
We are. So if there's any sweet sponsors out there that want to sponsor this podcast, we are 2 sweet people.
Yeah.
We enjoy sweet things. We're not that sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Depends on the day. But yeah.
Right. And so my next one, I love her so much. Crystal. I mean, if you guys haven't checked her out, she has the Self-Love Breakfast Club podcast, and then her Instagram is at xtilrose. But she also has she has a clothing boutique, Rebellia Clothing, that's on Instagram too. She's going to drop her fall clothes here soon, I think. So anyway, she's just super. Not only do I love talking with her on the podcast, and I'm being completely like, I love watching her stories. She's so real, and it's like we have insight into how her life is as an entrepreneur and just the struggles she goes through. And so if anyone out there is interested in becoming an entrepreneur and into the business world, that's why I wanted to give her a shout out for that reason. That's awesome. Because she shows that side, and she doesn't put all glitter and glamour over it. She's like, yep, well, I had a shitty day, and then she'll just go into it. And it really, it makes it more like, okay, it's not just me. Like if that's you. So at xtilrose, and she'll watch her stories, and she responds to DMs very well, actually. So if anyone wants to has a question to her about business or anything, I'm sure she'd be happy to respond.
Yeah. Well, that's how you got in touch with her in the first place, right? Because you reached out to her for the Combine podcast, and obviously she responded, and look where you're at now. 2 years later, you've done her podcast, and
I love that
connection with her. It's pretty sweet. So that's awesome. Cool. So those are two good ones for sure. That's where we're gonna end this thing. So thank you.
Long one. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yep. If you did. That was a long one. So like I said, just a warning for everybody who listens to the show. If one of us has not been on the show for a little while, and that next one that's a solo episode, just be prepared.
Got to make up for lost time. That's
a couple chatty Cathys. That's what happens. Yep. So
right. Exactly.
That's where we're going to end. So that being said, you guys can follow us. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this because we know how this goes on a weekly basis, and it's been 2 weeks. So
basically I butcher this next part so Josh can do it.
Yeah, which is fine. I just, I do everything else about this for this podcast, so it's fine. It's okay. I love saying that. People are probably like, he is such a jerk.
I just create Zoom. No, seriously, I just create Zoom, email it to him, and then we show up and I make him co-host. That's all. And I talk. That's all I do.
And she brings so much life and positivity.
That's it. That's all I had to add.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. She brings a lot of humor and joy. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
A lot of the funniest clips involve you. So
me.
Take that how you want. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, I don't know. But just say, when I'm looking for a clip, I'm like, where's Deb? Losing her mind. There it is. That's the clip we're going to use. All right.
A lot. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Tell our listeners where they can follow us.
Yeah, you guys can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Connectable Podcast. Also on YouTube at Connectable Podcast, and then on Twitter it's a little bit different. It's at Connectable Pod. So make sure you guys follow us on all those places, and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a 5-star rating and review. We really do appreciate it, as much as I joke about the 1-star and as much as I joke about how much we need these ratings. We always do appreciate it. We've shared a couple of ratings and reviews. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Like, what am I talking about?
It's late.
There's a brain freeze. So we had some really nice messages. Like I mentioned, Christine, your friend Christine left us a really nice 5-star review. Also, Paul Marshall, who's been listening to our show. He's a runner, athlete. He's friends with Bree Lambert Sanders. So he sent us some really, not just encouraging review on Apple Podcasts, but also sent us some very nice messages as well.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks, Paul.
DMs. Yeah, shout out to Paul, and then obviously all of the people that follow us all the time. Paula, my mother-in-law, Brandon Stokely, I don't know if you know this, Brandon Stokely's getting married pretty soon.
Oh my God.
He got engaged, and it's his birthday today. So it will be
happy belated birthday by the time this airs. And Brandon, can we podcast your wedding? Can we live podcast play?
Hey, you know what? That's a great idea. Brandon, if you want, we could be at your wedding, and we'll sit in a corner get it set up with lights and everything, and we'll just podcast your wedding. I don't know what we'll talk about, but we'll send you all the audio. It'll be fantastic. So
we're just I can picture it. We can walk around to different tables and we can just have conversation, and we'll record it for you. Brandon, that would be such a good idea. Then you can have those conversations forever with all those people at your wedding, and then we'll talk to you guys. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Think about it.
Here's the thing, Deb. I will do this. So if he asks us to do it, I hope you're serious, because I will do it. I'm not going by myself. So
I love weddings. Nicole gets invited to a lot of weddings, and I always tell her, am I your plus one? I better be. I love going to.
How many times have you been her plus one?
Once, but I'm going to 2 upcoming weddings with her.
So you say, okay, maybe. We'll see.
I am.
When are the weddings?
One is actually in a few weeks.
You have a lot of time to mess that up.
That's true. There's plenty of time.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you this.
Nicole accepts me for me, so
I don't know. Based on some of her comments on our Instagram, I'm not so sure. I think. Let me just say this: your little mic issue earlier, where you knocked the mic over, not going to help your case, because if I know one person that the mic situation drives nuts, it's Miss Nicole. So you knocking it over in the middle of an episode, you're not going to that wedding. You mess that up.
Invitation revoked.
Yep. Okay. She was probably just waiting too. It's like, she's going to do something. If I can get out of this wedding with Deb, I'm going to be so happy. And boom, there you go. You got out of it. So
I am so fun. But anyway, Brandon, think about it.
Think about it, Brandon. Let us know. And we'll be there. We'll be there for sure. Hey man, we have the stuff to do a portable recording. So memories. Yikes. With 2 people you were not expecting to be at your wedding.
Okay.
It'd be fantastic. So, all right, cool. Well, that's been fun. And you guys stay tuned for next week, whoever we have on the show.
Yep. We'll find out.
All right, guys.
Peace.
See ya. Thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you like it, share it, and hit the subscribe button to get a new episode every week. We'll see you next time on the Connectable podcast.